Today, as I mentioned in a video I posted earlier, I'm going to be marinating and vacuum sealing some country style pork ribs and some pork spare ribs. I'm going to be using Avid Armor USV32 series with 11 by 13 chamber vacuum seals. This Avid Armor 32 series is a chamber vacuum. During this process you will see how everything works and everything, but and we will go from there. So I'll be right back with you. You're going to have to excuse the in between because it's just me doing this by myself, but hopefully everything goes just fine and dandy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the meat in first. What I did is I went and cut the country style ribs in half. That way I can get more into the bag. And I cut the rack of ribs in half as well. So I'll have two separate bags with the marinade just for those as well. So I'm going to start with the rack of ribs, and we'll get those going first. Little messy still. That's okay. I do drain them a little bit, but that's the way it goes. So as I said, I'm going to use some olive oil. Go ahead and pour some of that in there. Set that off to the side so I know I didn't use it again. I use a little bit of teriyaki. It's my first time marinating my seasoning. It's always different every time. I don't ever use always the same seasoning. I like to mix it up to make it even different and see how everybody enjoys tasting. They always turn out great. I've been told with my ribs that I'm right up there with barbecue restaurants and stuff like that when it comes to my ribs. Next thing, I'm going to put in a little bit of liquid smoke. Go ahead and get all the liquid stuff out of the way first. Then we'll go from there. So now I'm going to start putting the powder seasonings in there. Tenderizer, as I stated. There's a little bit of mix, applewood and some bourbon brown sugar. New seasoning I've never tried before, some honey hickory rub. Got to take the cap off, seal. As you see, sometimes they like to make it adult proof as well. A little bit of garlic salt. This is a roast pork seasoning. Doesn't matter what you use. I ain't roasting the pork, but I am cooking some pork style ribs. Put the lid back on. Sorry about that. That's just my dog barking. Just think she needs to bark at every little thing. And another seasoning, this is barbecue seasoning. Okay, see, I use multiple seasonings. The trick is just make it even on all of them. I don't measure anything out. I do everything by look. Go ahead and pour a little bit of more olive oil in there. Make sure there's enough of a good mix. Gotta have plenty of liquid in there. What I'm gonna do first is just kind of roll the bag a little bit. Now I can get all the seasoning all mixed together. Still leave some liquid in there. Usually don't marinate. I usually just go straight from scratch and pour the olive oil on the seasoning, and then I usually pat it in. But using this, it's going to chamber seal it, and it should be a lot better. Excuse me for just a second. And I'm back. Before you go to seal, you always want to make sure that where you're sealing at, there's no liquid up the top. That way it's nice and dry. You can make sure you get a proper seal. That looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do, as you can see, and their bone. Look at that. They look really yummy. Those are going to soak. I'm going to seal it up. Let them soak for maybe about 15-20 minutes. And then they're going to be ready to go on the grill. There is a spacer to use if you need to. That way if you got something small, you want to raise it up a little bit, you can do this. I took it out so I make sure I have plenty of room to make sure my ribs fit in there properly. What you want to do, this, make sure everything's all the way in the back, lay it across there. There's one tab that you want to put the vacuum seal the bag through. The other two you just put on top of them if you want. You can do it different ways. There's a locking bar if you want to use it. You don't necessarily even have to use that. You can also just take the bag, fold it down over the seal bar, get it back to where you need it, make sure it's good. Nice and flat on there. What you're going to do is you close it. I already got the power on. These come with a 50-second vacuum time and a 5-second seal time. That's just the recommended. That's already programmed in there, ready to go. That's what we recommend. It should work just fine. So right now all I'm going to do is do an auto vacuum seal, and that'll automatically vacuum all the air out, seal it up, make sure all that's good in there and can soak, and it should work really well. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the auto vacuum seal button, and let's get her done. You always want to push down on the lid a little bit when you first start to get it started. A lot of people don't know about that. So these chamber vacuums work is they actually go up a little bit first. Don't worry, you're going to start seeing the liquid and stuff bubble in there. We're going to get some with the vacuum seal. Like I said, there's 5 seconds of seal time. There it goes, it's starting to seal. Once everything's done, goes through a cycle, the lid should automatically open up a little bit for you. And boom. And what we're going to do, what we're going to do is check the seal, make sure it's all nice and good to go, and that first batch is ready to go. It's nice and sealed. I'm going to let that marinate for a little bit, and we'll go get ready to pull it, throw them on the grill. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep going and doing the same process and do all the rest of them. I'm going to do a package of the country style ribs next. Put about 6 of them in there. Don't want to overwhelm it. Always make sure you just close the lid back. Just make sure nothing can get in there. Helps keep it nice and clean. I'm going to go through the same process. Same seasonings, everything. Olive oil, teriyaki. Liquid smoke. As long as you don't overdo it, you can't go wrong with liquid smoke. Don't really know a whole lot. Just enough. Now we'll add the seasonings in there. I want to come out very well that way. Lid off. Do a little tappy tap. And I'm going to do the same thing. And take it, kind of just roll it up a smidgen, leaving some air in there, holding on to it. Put all that mixture and stuff, get up in there. Get all of them nice and marinated, covered with the seasonings. Those look pretty good. And once again, throw this batch in the vacuum, chamber vacuum. The lip on this is actually pretty good, so there's no need for me to wipe it down to make sure we get a good seal. It looks pretty good. Close the lid once again, just hit the auto vacuum seal. Put it down a little bit. There we go. be ready. Once again, you release the seal on the lid, shake it out, make sure we got a nice tight seal, which we do. So that bag, ready to go, it's going to sit. Get ready to go on the grill. Tray's done. I put it in the sink to get it, be able to rinse it off and wash it. Back to another package of country style ribs. This will be the last package of them. Same process. Olive oil. Teriyaki. Liquid smoke. Give me first thing I gotta have my wife give me a favor.
What?
Will you come over here and just turn the camera to the left a little bit? No, turn like, or even just, yeah, do it that way. There we go. Thank you. Now we'll go to the seasonings. I always like to over tenderize because you never know. I like them to get nice and tender. I just go by eye when I'm doing my seasoning. Once again, do the same thing. Roll it up a little bit. Those all mixed around. Do a little shake, 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 Sonora, you know. Make sure you get all those ribs nice and coated. I got the last batch, I got the 2 with the bones in there, and then the rest were the ones that I cut in half. They didn't have bones. Alright. So this bag is ready to be vacuumed and sealed. Lid. Get it started. It might freak out a little bit. You'll see the bag start puffing up like it's going to explode, but it's not going to. And you also start seeing the liquid bubbling around in there. Seconds left on the vacuum cycle. In a second, you should hear it click. When you hear the change, that's when it starts to seal already. The vacuum. And that's back that batch. As you see it, release the lid. Always check your seal when you pull it out, as usual. All you need to do is just open the top. You can tell if it's still good, just rub your fingers across. you got a good seal. So there's that bag. Front and back. Got one more bag to do. It's the last half of the rack of ribs. Accidentally set the bag down on the tray that I used. I'm just going to wipe it off. You're cleaning along the way, it saves the process of having to clean your machine up to its full extent later. We'll get to that in a little bit. Season them all the same. See how it all turns out. Ignore me. Although it usually has a tendency to turn out quite well. What I usually do is put them on a tray with some olive oil, then I season them all down, pat it all in, wrap them in the aluminum foil, and go from there. This way I'm just going to seal them, let them sit, marinate for a bit, then I'm going to cook them on the grill, give them that nice little crisp. With these, I don't think I'm going to have to put any barbecue sauce on there, which I only do about 50-50 of the time. Most of the time I just leave it the way they are because they're juicy enough and you don't need no barbecue sauce unless you want to after the fact. That one came out a little bit more than I wanted, but I think it'll still be alright. Alright, that is the last thing I'm going to be bagging up and vacuum sealing. As I stated before, do the same thing like I did with the others. I'll roll it up a little bit. That way you can move the marinade around, get those nice and good. Now this bag is ready to get chambered and sealed. Make sure your seal's nice and clean, which it is. The auto vacuum seal button. A little push. Marinating away. Just waiting process now. It only takes about a minute. That juice is actually getting sucked into the meat as well. Sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. We're at the seal process. There we go. As you will see, you can't really see it from the video, but the lid does pop up a little bit, letting you know that it's done. Once again, just check your seal, make sure it's nice and good. That one's nice and good as well. Look at those, looking yummy. That's the process of bagging up your meat or whatever, your marinade. You can do just liquid marinade, get that ready and seal that so you have that for future projects. Today I'm just trying to do it this way with the marinade all in one, kind of like what I did with the marinade chamber that I did last time, only there's no accessory hose. I'm not using a container, just using the bags, and I want to be able to just go ahead and straight up eat the ribs at the same time. So this works exactly the same way. So right now I'm going to make sure the chamber machine is nice and clean, and we're done with that for the evening. So thank you for watching, and you enjoy the rest of the video, because they're going to be put on a grill, and then you will give you a picture of the taste test and everything else. All right, thank you.